Hey guys, good afternoon. Make a quick start. There will be translation after every question, so please wait for every question to be translated before we move to the next question. Usual, just kind of indicate towards me if you want to ask a question. Carlo.
Ben arrivati a tutti voi. Dopo, ogni volta che c'è una domanda rispondo io, traduco io e poi dopo se avete un'altra domanda mettete in aria la mano. Grazie.
Okay. Andrew?
Stephen, just how tough has the last couple of weeks been for everyone at the club?
Yeah, the group's been hurting. We were disappointed in many ways that the game was called off for the weekend, but it has given us some time in the training pitch to try and work on a few things. So we expect better from ourselves. Unfortunately, in football, you do have setbacks, and it's important we respond, and that starts tomorrow night.
Quanto è stato difficile per la squadra nelle ultime 2 o 3 settimane? La risposta sì, è stata molto difficile. Ovviamente non abbiamo giocato il weekend purtroppo perché vogliamo migliorarci, vogliamo giocare ogni settimana. Però succede nel calcio e vediamo che succede.
Keith?
Stephen, how big an improvement do you need against the side who took 4 off Liverpool last week compared to your display against Ajax?
Yeah, we understand the level the Champions League is, and the Napoli have obviously had a very impressive start to the season, magnified probably with the result against Liverpool as well. So we know we're going to have to be our very best at this level to get things from the game, but we also know with the crowd behind us here we can create something really special. So that's what our mindset's on. We did disappointing, obviously, game week 1, and it's important that we try and give ourselves a platform, and the home games are always going to be important for us. So it's another opportunity for us, and we're determined and looking forward and excited for the challenge.
Quanto è importante migliorarsi dopo aver perso, dopo il fatto che Napoli ha cominciato la stagione bene e ha battuto Liverpool 4-0. Sì, abbiamo capito molto bene che Champions League è molto molto difficile, però vogliamo cominciare bene come ha fatto il Napoli nel campionato e anche nella Champions. Dobbiamo giocare al meglio, però qui abbiamo tutti i tifosi davanti a noi. Pensiamo positivo e speriamo migliorare soprattutto nelle partite a casa.
Andy?
Stephen, you've played in this stage before. You've been at this level. How much can your experience play a part in trying to help the rest of us get to the level you need to be at?
I think we've got good experience, European experience throughout the squad. Obviously, with the journeys we've been on over the last few years, and a lot of the group have been together and been a part of that. So, as I say, we know the scrutiny that we're under playing for this club, and the last 2 results haven't been acceptable. At times you can lose games, but maybe not so in the manner that we have in the last 2. So the most important thing for us is getting back to the basics and doing them well, and we do that. We can be a good team and we can hurt teams, but as I say, the level of the Champions League is you get punished whenever you make mistakes. So we know we're going to have to be at our best to get the result that we all want.
Tu, Steven, hai molta esperienza nella Champions League. Quanto è importante? La risposta: siamo una brava squadra, tutti insieme abbiamo molta esperienza. Se vediamo le ultime 2 stagioni in Europa, sappiamo quanto è difficile giocare contro il Napoli, però noi capiamo perfettamente che non è accettabile giocare con i Rangers e perdere. Però andiamo di nuovo e andiamo meglio e siamo una brava squadra noi.
Joshua?
Stephen, when you look back at 2 4-0 defeats, what's been the analysis within the club of what went wrong, and what's the manager communicated to the players this week?
There's a lot of things we need to do better at, to be honest. Obviously, the manner of the goals that we conceded in both games. Obviously, we conceded a couple from set plays, a couple from quick set plays as well, and against Celtic. So yeah, there's a lot of things for us to work on. I don't think it's a true reflection of us as a squad, and that's how we feel. We're hurting from it. We're determined to be better. We know we're better than that. So the focus is just on, as I say, getting back to doing the basics well, and if we do that, that'll give us a platform to go and hopefully get a good result.
Cosa ti ha comunicato il mister dopo aver perso due partite di fila? Noi sappiamo che dobbiamo migliorarci. Perdere, stiamo subendo gol facili dai calci di punizione come abbiamo fatto contro il Celtic, però adesso non è il tempo di pensare, è il tempo di giocare e siamo determinati a migliorarci.
Ronnie?
Steve, to what extent have you reassessed your ambitions in this group following last week's game?
I don't think we've reassessed anything really, to be honest, in terms of that there. I think it was a huge challenge for us to try and get into the group stages. There's been a lot of work obviously gone over the last number of years on and off the pitch to get us back to this level, and we want to enjoy it, but ultimately know that it's a really top level to play at. You're going to have to be your best to get results. The group is always going to be difficult. We're underdogs from the get-go, but we also have belief within the squad, so I think going into these groups in European football in general, we know home games are going to be really important for us. It clearly wasn't the start that we would have liked to get off to in terms of the result and the performance, so our focus has to be in getting a bit better performance, and hopefully, as I say, that'll lead to a result.
Cosa pensate come una squadra dopo aver perso la prima partita? Non cambia molto, noi sappiamo quanto è difficile arrivare nella Champions, noi vogliamo divertirci, è sempre difficile giocare contro queste grandi squadre, però noi crediamo in noi stessi. Tutte le partite sono difficili, però è importante che vinciamo le partite a casa. Sì.
Lewis?
Stephen, irrespective of the standard of the opponent you're playing, a group of players aren't used to losing many games back to back. Is that determination going to be probably what drives you against such a good opponent tomorrow night in Napoli to not make it through?
Yeah, of course, we're excited for the game, to be honest. As I said, we've had a few days training now together, and the intensity's certainly been there. The group's been lively. We want to try and obviously get back to winning ways. We know it's going to be difficult, but coming up against a really good side, but we have to have belief in ourselves as well, and we know the fans will be really looking forward to getting Champions League football back here at Ibrox, and they'll create an incredible atmosphere, and hopefully we can make it another memorable night.
Ovviamente non è normale qui perdere così tante partite. La risposta, noi non vediamo l'ora, stiamo allenando molto bene, c'è grande intensità nell'allenamento, noi vogliamo vincere, sappiamo che è una bella squadra con chi giochiamo, però noi abbiamo i tifosi qua e loro amano il Champions, vogliamo vincere.
Claudio Russo, Calciopoli 24. Steven, volevo sapere cosa pensi del centrocampo del Napoli, se in quella zona che magari contro Anghissalo, Botken, Zielinski possa essere il fulcro del match. E un'altra curiosità, tu sei quello che ha più esperienza in Champions, eri in campo anche 12 anni fa nell'ultima partita in casa, se nel gruppo magari può giocare può essere negativa magari la pressione di dover fare per forza il risultato avendo perso la prima partita. Grazie.
The first part of the question was that you're going to be playing against some really good midfielders, Zabotsky and Zielinski, in the middle of the park. How are you going to be able to deal with that? And also, since it's been 10 years since you last played in the Champions League, how do you think your experience is going to help?
Yeah, we know that they've got quality within the midfield. We've obviously done our analysis in terms of the way that we play, and to try and help us counteract the qualities that they have. Regarding obviously my experience, as I said before, I think we've got really good European experience throughout the group, and obviously I'm a part of that, so we know at this level you have to be able to keep the ball at times, because if you don't, then it'll be a long night inevitably. So we're just really looking forward to the challenge. As I said, we've worked really hard to get back here, and we want to go and enjoy it, and ultimately you do that by putting in a good performance and getting good results.
Ovviamente sappiamo molto della qualità del Napoli, abbiamo analizzato tutti i giocatori. Per quanto riguarda la mia esperienza, non è soltanto io che ho l'esperienza, abbiamo un'esperienza come una squadra, come abbiamo fatto l'anno scorso nell'Europa League. È molto importante tenere la palla, se no potrebbe essere una notte lunga, però abbiamo lavorato molto difficile per essere qui.
Buonasera, Luigi Giordano, Pianeta Napoli. Con la sua nazionale, l'Irlanda del Nord, avete fermato sul pareggio l'Italia in casa del capitano del Napoli Di Lorenzo. Quanto è difficile tatticamente giocare contro le squadre italiane?
Obviously, with your experience of playing with Northern Ireland, you've played against an Italian team. How difficult is to play against tactically Italian teams?
How what? Sorry.
How difficult is it to play tactically against Italian teams?
Yeah, of course. I think Italian teams are notorious for obviously being very tactical in terms of how they play, and we've had the experience of playing recently a couple of times against Italy, so you know the quality of the experience that the international players have in their setup. Obviously Napoli as well is full of international players of different nationalities, so I think once you get to this level, tactically, technically, teams are going to be at the highest level, so it's always going to be a challenge, and as I say, one we're looking forward to.
Last question for Jordan, please.
La traduzione? Sorry. Ovviamente le squadre italiane e anche la nazionale è famoso per la tattica, però è vero che anche io ho giocato recentemente contro l'Italia, però anche come allenatori ci sono tanti giocatori di livello internazionale e a questo livello è molto importante che giochiamo bene.
Sorry, Jordan.
Stephen, the manager after the Ajax game last week said it's impossible to compete at this level unless you spend hundreds of millions of pounds on players. Just wondering what you think of the jump in the level and how important it is to show the fans that money doesn't come into it and on the pitch tomorrow night.
Yeah, I didn't see the interview or hear it firsthand, but my take on it would be a little bit out of context. I think maybe he was referring to winning the Champions League, maybe or whatever in terms of his statement on that there. But yeah, it's obviously a really tough level, but I think we've shown with the journey we were on last year that what we are capable of if we really max out and hit our highest level in terms of getting to Europa League final and having the disappointment of not winning it. So we know what we're capable of, but as I say, it's we have to be our very best to get results at this level, and that's not a criticism in any way, but we know what we've got to do to try and do that.
Dopo l'ultima partita nella Champions, il mister ha detto che è impossibile giocare a questo livello senza i soldi. La risposta, io non ho mai visto l'intervista, però lui riferiva al fatto che per vincere la Champions bisogna avere tanti soldi. Noi sappiamo molto bene che questo livello è molto duro, però noi sappiamo anche che l'anno scorso abbiamo dimostrato tutto che siamo capaci di fare. Purtroppo non abbiamo vinto, però abbiamo giocato molto bene e speriamo vincere domani.
Thank you, everyone. Manager with you in a minute.
Thank you.
Sei arrivato? Vai. No, gli lasciano da tubo. Gli lasciano da tubo. Perché ci ha dato tutto, mi ha dato me e Napoli. Neanche produzione, niente.
Okay, guys, same again. Just need to wait for translation.
Sì, come l'ultima volta.
Okay, Lewis, kick us off, please.
Giovanni, first of all, take us into the mood in the camp. How's it been after two difficult defeats as you look ahead to Napoli tomorrow?
Well, the mood is good. I mean, in the sense that we've been together for now a couple of days. We have more training sessions and we are used to have before games. So the mood is good. Only, you know, the time is tomorrow to perform.
Come stai dopo le due ultime partite che avete perso? Stiamo bene, abbiamo avuto 2 giorni di allenamento di più che normale e non vediamo l'ora di giocare.
Chris?
Hi Gio, what is the team news for tomorrow and the situation with John McLaughlin? Is he available to play?
No, John is not available. He picked up an injury after the last game, so he will not be involved. And the others are fit to go. I mean, apart from the players who are already injured.
Le notizie per quanto riguarda la squadra per domani, c'è John McLaughlin, il portiere. Lui non è disponibile, è stato infortunato dopo l'ultima partita, non gioca, però le altre sì.
Joshua?
Hi Gio, you conceded from a set piece obviously in Ajax and you'd conceded against PSV. Spoke about that after the game in Holland. I just wondered if that's something you've given extra work to in training this week or if it's just the usual, it doesn't matter if you concede or not.
No, of course you want to improve after every game. You want to improve all the things you are doing at the moment, and set pieces is definitely one of the things we didn't do well in Europe. Because we conceded against PSV, as you said, and also against Ajax last week. So, yeah, we're giving it more attention, but that's also with all the other things we have to improve.
Nelle ultime partite avete subito i gol nel calcio di punizioni, è qualcosa che avete lavorato molto in allenamento, ma per forza vogliamo migliorarci in tutti i sensi. Abbiamo perso contro Ajax in questo senso e speriamo non farlo di nuovo.
Mark Wilson?
Hi Gio, just on Alan McGregor, who assumes going to come back into the team tomorrow night. I mean, it's been a strange season for him in a ways. We used to be #1, has had to sit out matches. How have you found his attitude throughout the season, and how much faith do you have in him coming back into obviously a huge game tomorrow night?
Well, of course, it's different for Alan that he's not started the games from the beginning, so that's different for him. He's still the same. He's still the same in training. You know, he's the same person, and I have every faith in him when he plays tomorrow because of the experience he has. And he will be fine tomorrow, so I have no doubt in my mind to have any doubts that he will not perform tomorrow.
Per quanto riguarda Alan McGregor, l'altro portiere che giocherà domani, niente ha cambiato per lui, soltanto il fatto che non gioca cada settimana, ogni settimana. Però è la stessa persona, lui ha molta esperienza e io non ho dubbi per quanto riguarda lui che giocherà.
Keith?
Hi Gio, Alfredo Morelos has had a couple of weeks training now since you left him out of the trip to PSV. Is he ready to come in and start?
Well, he's definitely better than a couple of weeks ago. I mean, both mentally and also physically. He's training really well, so I'm, I had a good conversation with him. Of course, the not being involved against PSV for him was a big, I think, a big wake-up call. But after that, he's doing really well. So he's in a far better place than he was in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, he makes it difficult for me now to decide who to start with.
Stiamo parlando di Alfredo Morelos, che non aveva giocato nelle ultime partite. Lui sta facendo meglio nel senso di mentalità, ma anche fisicamente. Lui si allena bene, ovviamente per lui era molto difficile non giocare contro PSV, però adesso è molto più focalizzato.
Mark?
They say that at Rangers you're only one game away from a crisis after two such heavy defeats. Has that given you and your coaching team any thoughts about, the philosophy that you're trying to get over to the players? Any changes?
No, nothing to change about philosophy. I mean, 2 weeks ago we qualified for Champions League. Everything was fine. Everyone was praised about the team, about the staff, about the club. We're doing well. And 2 defeats later, it looks like we haven't performed in the last couple of years. I mean, that's the dynamic of football. So I'm not changing anything about my philosophy, how I want to play. Of course, there's a lot of room for improvement, but I think the most disappointing of the last 2 games that we didn't perform. And the disappointment I have, the players, for sure they have it, because we talked about it, and that's something that have to change. And losing 2 games against good opponents is, you don't play every year in the Champions League. And the level we facing now in a couple of months, we have never endured that in the last 12 years. So of course it's going to be tough, but I don't understand why we have to put our philosophy on the side. I mean, we can go to Ajax and play with 10 defenders and try to keep the 0, but we're not improving as a team like that. I think I'm sure that the opponent we faced against Ajax was also for my team an experience they won't forget. And the big learning point is to do it different tomorrow against another quality team, Napoli. So no, I think you're sure. We faced heavy defeats, and we talked about it, and now is the chance tomorrow to get a good result. Playing at home for us is a big difference, and being a Rangers manager or a Rangers player, 2 defeats in a row is not acceptable, and that's something different than putting your philosophy aside. So we go out tomorrow with the same philosophy and try to win the game.
Una squadra come società come Glasgow Rangers non è mai accettabile perdere. Sì, però 2 settimane fa ci siamo qualificati per la Champions, tutto era possibile e buono. E dopo 2 sconfitte adesso stiamo dicendo che tutto è andato male. Io non cambio la mia filosofia. Noi non abbiamo giocato bene nelle ultime partite, però sappiamo che dobbiamo cambiare. Abbiamo giocato contro 2 grandi squadre, però negli ultimi 12 anni non siamo stati a questo livello. Per forza è difficile per noi. Sì, è facile andare a giocare in Ajax con 10 difensori, però così non ci miglioriamo. Vogliamo imparare contro Napoli, sì, è una grande squadra, però adesso è l'opportunità per noi, giocando a casa davanti ai nostri tifosi. Noi vogliamo vincere e sappiamo che non è mai accettabile perdere.
Canale 21, Pilota, salve. Il Napoli viene qui senza Osimhen e Lozano. Che tipo di Napoli pensa di trovare nella sfida di domani? Un Napoli differente rispetto alla partita fatta con Liverpool?
Napoli is coming without Osimhen or Lozano. So what kind of Napoli do you think you're going to meet compared to the one that played against Liverpool?
Well, I think it's of course Osimhen is a blow for them because he's playing the last weeks already. He's a very physical striker. The strikers they have now are different in quality and also like characteristics. Simeone is a different striker. So we've seen them play also without him. Lozano is in and out of the team. Of course, I know him really well of his time as well at PSV. He's a very good winger, very, very fast. But, if you see the team playing, there are much more than those 2 players. They have quality players. I think the changes they made because of they lose many quality players, very influential players in comparing to last season, but it's a very strong team. I mean, they're first in the league and now in Serie A. That shows the start they have in the league. So we are well prepared, and we know the task we have and the challenge, which is playing against a very, very good team.
the question, sorry, I've already said the question. Osimhen ovviamente è un giocatore molto fisico, ma anche grandissimo, però ci sono altri diversi attaccanti che ci hanno. Simeone è molto diverso, anche diverse caratteristiche. Lozano non gioca sempre, però io lo conosco molto bene dal PSV, lui è molto rapido. Però sappiamo che in Napoli più dei 2 giocatori, è una squadra molto difficile, molto forte, sono primi in classifica in Serie A, però siamo ben preparati.
Mister, Calciao 24 Russo, le chiedo come si ferma un giocatore come Kvaratskhelia dopo il debutto contro il Liverpool in Champions League, che lei sicuramente avrà visto, e cosa pensa di Luciano Spalletti. Credo che non vi siate mai affrontati né quando lei era giocatore né chiaramente da allenatore.
How are you planning to stop a player like Kvaratskhelia? Si dico bene.
It's a difficult name, eh?
Yeah.
I know. We're struggling as well with my staff to put his name.
Scusate, who has started the season really well, and also what your thoughts about Spalletti, a player that you've never, somebody who've never played against as a player or also managed against.
Well, I mean, he's doing a really good job. I like him as a coach. I like his teams, how they play. So I'm really impressed the work he's done now. You know, he and the left winger, you know, with the difficult name, he's he's very good. You know, he's actually bow-feeded. He's fast. You know, a lot of dangers come from his side. So he's definitely one of the players we have to make sure that won't be allowed to be in the game, because you know he has the quality. So yeah, that's it.
Ovviamente è un grande allenatore. Io mi piace molto come gioca le sue squadre, è molto impressivo. Per quanto riguarda Kvaratskhelia, lui è molto forte e rapido anche, è un giocatore con cui dobbiamo concentrarci molto. Lui è un giocatore speciale.
Last two, we'll do Paul, then we'll do Jordan to finish, please.
You said James Tavernier had been struggling with a knock the last couple of games. Is he ready to start, and how important a player does he continue to be for you?
Well, he's definitely better than last week, because you know all the games we played in a row, that didn't help his physique. You know, the 1 week break, I think for Tav is really welcome, because he could recover more days than normally. He's an important player. If you see his quality, he brings to the team. So you know, it's all there to see, and so for him to be tomorrow in the game, he will be much better physically than he played against Ajax.
Per quanto riguarda Tavernier, il giocatore, lui era infortunato, però è molto importante per voi. Sì, lui sta meglio, aveva giocato tante partite in fila, però una settimana di pausa lo aiuta molto. Lui è molto importante per noi per quanto riguarda le qualità, e lui starà bene e sarà meglio nel campo domani.
Jordan, last question.
Giovanni, you spoke about keeping belief in the philosophy and the system that's delivered you some great results as recently even as PSV. The issues of the last 2 weeks and the 2 results, is that a failure to implement it with the players, or is it something else that's led to that?
Well, I think if you see the last games, and then the disappointment was also in the performances of the players. I mean, the level we reached wasn't the level we normally have. I said before, especially the game against Ajax, when you have to compete on a higher level than you used to, it's a big difference. So if I look at my team last week and see the performances of my players, I can pick 6-7 players who didn't reach their level. And if you don't have that in the team to be prepared to play against Champions League opponents, you have to reach your level as a person, as a player, but also as a team to get a result. And if you're not at the level on the day, and you can see all the results last week about big teams losing in really big numbers, you know, that's the Champions League. So tomorrow we need to have the level of performances by player needs to be up, and our team level as well. Otherwise, you know, we're also going to struggle against Napoli. But I'm confident the week we've had and the preparation And of course, the experience of the game last week will be in a much better place tomorrow. But then again, the feeling is good. But you know, there's a time to perform, and that's tomorrow, starting at 8 o'clock.
La vostra filosofia nelle ultime 2 partite, così è successo? È un problema con i giocatori? No, assolutamente no. Le ultime partite il livello dove siamo arrivati non era dove dobbiamo essere. Contro Ajax è una grande differenza di livello, però io devo dire che 6 o 7 giocatori non sono arrivati al livello che è necessario. Se non giochiamo a questo livello, come abbiamo visto nelle altre grandi squadre nella Champions, si può perdere. Questa è la Champions e domani dobbiamo giocare meglio come una squadra. Abbiamo provato bene e abbiamo tanta esperienza. Ci sentiamo bene e vediamo tutto domani sul campo alle 8.
Thank you, everyone. If you're staying for Napoli, my colleagues will show you to the media working area. Thank you.